Hello, my name is Kendall Heinlein, and my project is about UI and UX design elements. I'm a sophomore majoring in emerging technologies in business and design and minoring in architecture and interior design studies. I was introduced to user interface and user experience design last year, and I was intrigued to learn more about it. I enjoy UI and UX design because of its endless design possibilities in creating content targeted towards an audience. I wanted my case studies to give me better insight into app development with UI and UX design. My first case study focuses on the process of redesigning the app Lyft. Their goal quoted from their study were scale for the future, provide better context, and improve ergonomics and discoverability. Their design principles were created in a pyramid shape that included nailing the basics, building confidence, and being unique. Using the same pyramid method, Lyft talked about its UX challenges in the same way. The pyramid included differentiate, meaning it must be visually and interactively interesting. An example of this is Lyft's glowing buttons and interactive options menu. Usability, meaning it must solve a compelling user issue, and reliability, meaning everything must work seamlessly and be as transparent as possible. An example of this is their riding costs. Further in their UX research, they used qualitative data and quantitative data, gathered user feedback, and used A and B testing. Their reasons for their redesign were because of poor representation of the driver that is requested, no transparency about price or estimated time of arrival, cars were not directional, there was a poor use of color, options panel was awkwardly placed, and request Lyft is vague for first-time users. At the end of their redevelopment, they achieved enhanced transparency and safety, better usage of primary color, made their app ergonomic, meaning more efficient. Their design process and UX research helped me understand how businesses include and value great design in both UI and UX. My second case study was UI and UX design for mobile photo editor. It showed the process of the creation of UI and UX design for a mobile photo editing app. The designer's goal was to develop UI and UX for all-in-one selfie camera and photo editor mobile app for teenage girls and young adult women aged 15 to 35. The app was named Katine and had the slogan, "Meet the most beautiful you." The designer wanted to create a smart UX that represented 6 basic features of the application and make a modern, youthful, feminine, and playful UI design. Their UI design included both fashion and entertainment visual styles. They wanted their UI components in bright color palettes along with gradient effects. The designer then created original icons that would help make their product stand out. It is important to focus on all UI components, including the icons and buttons, to help make mobile app design more powerful. This creative flow for mobile UI UX design really helped me with my design ideas for my project. For the thesis question, it was, what does good UI UX design look like? This question was one of my main goals when making my app development mockups and was something I wanted to learn more about. Going into my project, I knew I wanted to focus on app design and incorporate UX and UI design. For my app development, I focused on the visual elements of UI and UX design and what I learned over the course I had completed. My project brief was a heart rate monitor called Heartbeat Check that focused on viewing your heartbeat when resting or exercising. This app essentially would be available in the App Store and would use sensors to measure your heart rate. The sensors would show your current heart rate and save the data on the app for the time period or day. I also created a slogan being "Healthy Heart, Healthy Life" for my app. Since I was unable to actually create an app, I just focused on the visual design elements that would have been incorporated into it. I made the concept and overview of my app simple so I was able to understand my goals for the designs that would be included within my app. The audience was targeted towards anyone who wanted to check their heart rate, whether they were resting or exercising. After understanding my topic and audience, I began the design process. I used Adobe Illustrator and Figma, which are both tools for digital design. These tools were very helpful but challenging because I needed to understand their functionality in order to create my designs. I have some experience with these design tools, but I did have to use YouTube to help me better understand their operation to create my visuals. To start my project, I created a mood board for my app on Figma to help define my app's look and feel. This process was challenging because I wanted to make sure the typography, color, icons, and overall design of my app work harmoniously together to match my app's objective. In my mood board, I included icons, app designs, app layouts, typefaces, and color palettes that I would use for my app. I used Pinterest to pull together my ideas and images as well as Google to compose my mood board. Then I created my pattern library in Figma that included 4 versions of a button, 4 image-based icons, and 4 additional elements for my app. I used the elements of my mood board, like typography and color scheme, to incorporate them into my pattern library. I made sure each element looked similar in style by having a simple and bolded design. I also got the idea for my looks and my design from my mood board ideas. Figuring out what buttons, icons, and elements would look like was also challenging, but my mood board was able to help me collect my ideas. I also struggled making the shapes in my image icons look exactly how I wanted to, but I tried my best. Lastly, I brought together the interface elements to create two different iPhone screens in Adobe Illustrator. The two iPhone screens I created included icons, colors, typeface, and functionality that originated with ideas from my mood board, pattern library, and app description. I knew what my goal was, and that was to allow users to check their heart rate, so I made sure to include that in one of my screens. The heart rate monitor functionality can be seen with the hold down button, which encourages users to interact with it. If I had made this into a functioning mockup, I would have created the heart, target, and button to change colors as the user interacts with the button, but unfortunately I was unable to. The other screen included what my homepage would look like. I decided to create other functionalities to my app to help add design, like tracking your steps, checking your heart rate, and making a profile. I thought by doing this, it would appear more like a realistic app and offer more for the user's experience. I was able to learn a lot from my visual design element experience. Here is my design process sketched out to show each step in order. As you can see in the sketch, each step is important and each step is applied to the other in order to create the final designs. I wish I could have created a mock-up of a functioning app, so hopefully I will in the future. I was also able to understand good UI and UX design and incorporate it into my project. I enjoy creating the design process and will be able to use this process in my future of my app designs.